Hi everyone, Scott with Dearly Departed Tours. I was reading the Desert Sun this morning, and on the front page was an article that said, Cheetah, a Hollywood chimp who found fame at home in Palm Springs, dies. So that was quite sad. Cheetah the Chimp from the Tarzan movies. I bought a painting from Cheetah the Chimp a couple of years ago. And then I went on to read a little bit more about this cheetah who retired in Palm Springs. It's supposedly the illustrious career of the Tarzan films, but whose Hollywood bona fides would later cast into doubt, died on last Thursday. That would be on May 5th, 2022. So I started going on a deep dive, and quite frankly, I was like, oh my God, can't anything be normal? Can't anything just be a story? But of course, this is complicated, and I didn't do a huge deep dive on it because. But this is the story of Cheetah in Palm Springs, who died on May 5th, 2022. This is the Palm Springs Walk of Stars, and I am standing in front of Cheetah's star, Cheetah the primate, famous for Tarzan. And you're going to hear more about that in just a moment, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole thing. But this was presented for Cheetah back in 1995. In 2010, Cheetah's caregiver, animal trainer Dan Westfall, was also presented with his star on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars. And this story is kind of about Cheetah. Kind of. It's exhausting. Cheetah is the name of a chimpanzee that is synonymous with the character Tarzan. Tarzan was in numerous novels, then many, many movies from the 1930s to the 1960s, as well as a late 1960s television series. But it originally started with novels by author Edgar Rice Burroughs. Now, it's interesting to note that the character of Cheetah, the chimpanzee, was not in a majority of the Tarzan novels until much later in the author's career. When I read the obituary in the Desert Sun today, I was sad, and I did a little search, and it quickly became something more. On Wikipedia, there are several cheetahs listed in several different Tarzan movies and television programs and appearances. Now, the primate that just passed away, this cheetah, Cheeta, not with an H, was owned and cared for by Dan Westfall in this home in Palm Springs, California, that was named appropriately Casa de Cheetah. Now, Cheetah the chimpanzee, not with an H, resided here for just over 31 years until he died here on Thursday, May 5th, 2022. Now, Dan Westfall became Cheetah's guardian after his uncle, Tony Gentry, a Hollywood animal trainer, became unable to care for him. Now, Tony Gentry's IMDb page shows that he worked on The New Adventures of Tarzan in 1935 and in 2 episodes of the Mickey Mouse Club in 1955 as the trainer for an elephant and a chimpanzee. It's been established that Tony was, supposedly, I don't even know, he was a guy that would speak to friends and they would just roll their eyes at some of the stories he made up. So it's not proven that he's ever had a Tarzan chimpanzee. But he did have this chimpanzee, and he cared for it in his home in Thousand Oaks, where he honestly did train animals. And when Cheetah retired, he would sit with Tony Gentry and eat eggs and toast, smoke a cigar, and drink beer, until Tony Gentry could no longer care for him. A couple of years before he died, Tony was considering having Cheetah euthanized, but Dan, his distant cousin, begged his uncle to let Cheetah reside with him in his home in Palm Springs, this home. Now, Tony Gentry died in 1993. So this home became a refuge for all sorts of retired movie animals that have gone past their screen use days. In 2001, the Guinness Book of World Records awarded this chimpanzee with the World's Oldest Living Primate Award when he was 69 years old. That's the claimed age. In 2007, he celebrated his 75th birthday with sugar-free cake and cans of Diet Coke because he had diabetes and he also had arthritis. Now, in 2008, Dan reached out to a writer, R.D. Rosen, to write Cheetah's biography. After a short amount of time, R.D. Rosen did some researching and he started questioning aspects of the cheetah story that he'd been presented with. And Rosen disproved the story, citing facts that Tony Gentry, the animal trainer, stated that were just impossible to prove. And also the physical evidence. He would watch the films that Tony Gentry claimed that Cheetah was in and, had pictures and he could match them up. And chimpanzees, you can tell the way they age, the shapes of their ears, etc. Rosen actually broke the news to Westphal that his cheetah wasn't the real cheetah. Now, Westphal was selling paintings done by Cheetah for $135 or $140. I bought one. I got an autograph from Cheetah too, thinking it was the cheetah from the Tarzan movies. Now, I'm not saying that Westphal did anything untoward. I'm sure that he was convinced, he believed that the cheetah that he cared for, that he lived with, was the cheetah from the Tarzan movies. But he wasn't. So he did change the name of his cheetah refuge and then made it into initials. Cheetah, CHEETA, stands for Creative Habitats and Enrichment for Endangered and Threatened Apes. So this became a refuge for animals. He was still selling paintings by Cheetah, but not the cheetah that we all know. And there was another ape in Florida, another chimpanzee that claimed to be the cheetah that died in 2011. I mean, it just gets so exhausting and so tiresome. But ultimately, the very nice cheetah who lived here was probably 60 years old, maybe 70, maybe 40. He couldn't have been 40, but he wasn't quite 80, I don't think, the way they claimed him to be. Enjoyed this house, swinging on playground equipment and listening to music and watching television. And also being the primate Picasso, selling those paintings that went to a proper charity. Yeah, it was a proper charity for caring for animals. And it is where he passed away. Celebrities came to visit: Betty White, Carol Channing, Tippi Hedren, Kay Ballard. It's really not known how old Cheetah was, but he's passed away on May 5th, 2022, and Dan Westphal has plans to have Cheetah taxidermied and exhibit him at a natural history museum in Riverside. He got the inspiration from Roy Rogers, who had his horse Trigger mounted in a similar fashion. And so rest in peace, Cheetah, and as Dan Westphal, his caretaker, good friend for over 30 years, had to say about Cheetah: the world is a little less wonderful without Cheetah. Thank you very much for watching. I certainly appreciate your time and your attention. I especially thank the people who subscribe to this page by the Patreon link below. Thank you so much, Michael Brown, Christy, Alexandria Marie, Kim Vandermeulen, Seth, and Esme. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And until next time.
You heard me.